Welcome to the #1 spot health and wellness practitioners go to double their current income and turn their 10-hour work day into a 10-hour work week. Join us as we dive into the tips, tools, and tech you need to create a life and practice on your own terms. More freedom, flexibility, fulfillment, and of course, funds. It's time to build your online practice. And I'm your host, Michelle Rogers, also known as the Wealthy Woman. Be sure to subscribe for your weekly dose of education, inspiration, and action. Let's get started. I am so excited, you guys, because Lauren's a very special person to me. But seriously, she is. I love you so much, Lauren, and just like your vision and like the way that you have handled yourself, like through the mentorship and our private mentorship, like it's just been such an honor to see you grow and thrive and really solidify your vision and like move towards it in a speed that is just like, holy, what in the what? So I'm just so excited for you guys to meet Lauren, to hear her story, and to, just like gain the pearls and the wisdom and maybe some inspiration from where she was to where she's at, because she is doing some big ass shit in the world right now. So I'm so excited. Do you want to like give yourself like a little introduction and also, and then we'll dive into questions.
So you guys know my name now. I'm Lauren. I have been in the functional medicine world for probably heavily like the past like 5 years or so. And I, worked with a clinic in the past, and I really wasn't feeling like it was really my jam. I knew I wanted to go out on my own. I knew there was a lot more freedom if I did that as well. I was always somewhat virtual, so that was an leg I had up on maybe some of the people who are watching here, because I know a lot of people want to go virtual when they start working with you. Mm-hmm. But I really was scared to make the leap of creating my own clinic, right? Because a lot of those things have been done for me before. So my work with Michelle at the beginning was going through the WELLthy mentorship, the WELLthy Academy, and I always think of myself as someone who's like, I don't know, pretty easy to guide. Like once someone gives me like the roadmap, I'm like, fantastic. Like I got it, So I didn't even at first, like, I don't even think I finished the full program, to be quite
honest. And that's like, so I'm just going to like throw in you guys, whoever's on the buyout blueprint, like the email series, I kind of talked about this scenario, and Lauren's the person I was talking about, where I'm like, so when we had our graduation call, I wasn't even sure like where she was at, like what she was doing. Had she gone through the program? Was she furious at me? Like I was like, where is this person at? Because you just, like you said, you just like did your thing. You're like, I've got the roadmap, I've got tools, like I'll let you keep going.
Yeah, and that's just how I ride in life. It's like when I know I have to make a shift, like I got like enough fire under my butt, enough motivation, and enough clarity to like, I think I forgot the exact date. I think within 3 months of like getting access to your program, I already had like 20 clients of my own outside, and I had left the clinic, and I was like, great, fantastic. I'm not struggling. I was making like $10,000 months like that. And I was like, oh, great. I proved to myself. And I think because of that, I also like didn't have as much time to fall into the course, but I'm just
fair enough.
It is what it is. But I knew and that's when you're purchasing a course like that or a mentorship, right? It's sometimes just for that energy aspect. And I know I've sent other people to you who have signed up, and I'm like, that's what you are getting, is like you are walking into that essence that you provide. That helped me so much.
I just love hearing that and that story, because I like, you guys, like this isn't like the typical thing, like a lot of times people, they're showing up to office hours, they're posting questions, like they're working through the modules. And so I just want to, I guess, here kind of highlight that everybody gets to do it their own way. Right. And like, we all learn in different ways. We all apply in different ways, and we all like kind of gather what it is that we need. And I think it's I think it's like a real testament to like when you find the person, or like the person's energy, or like the container or whatever that is really going to serve you and like support you into that next level. Like that's the piece that's really, I don't know, core, like really, really, really important. Like you were saying, it's like, it just like provided that the thing you needed. I don't even know if you can describe what that thing is.
It's like, you know, it's
Yeah.
like when we need to step into something new, it's scary. So we need
Mhm.
like a little bit of a nurture sequence for that, right? It's like, okay, cool. One, you know you can do this, but what's in the way? What's like the psychology? We have to like work around that. I remember one of the first modules, I don't even remember what exact module it was. There was like this recording that we made of ourselves where we like are, I don't even know if it's still available, like that
Yeah,
module.
yeah, yeah, totally, totally.
Okay, so it's like you record yourself as if you were already in the place that you want to be.
Mm.
Like that right there, I was like life changing. Whoever watched that module and hasn't done it, like you're
Do it.
like you really need to do that. It's those little things that I think a lot of people, I don't know, maybe it's half and half, but maybe people come to you for like the functional aspect of things and how to get things in order. Great. I'm more like messy action. I just needed like that. A big part of that piece was the emotional piece for me.
Yeah, so much. Such a big thing. And like, yeah, I just love how you just took it, ran with it, and freaking like nailed it. And then not only that, it's like towards the end of the program. So going back to like our graduation call, she hops on the call and she's like, okay, so I'm ready to like step into one-on-one mentorship. I'm just like, wait, what was that? Wait,
Yeah.
okay. So you did all of this, implemented everything, and now we get to create like her vision, her next level vision, which is just mind blowing. I get chills when I think about what you've created. Do you want to talk about what
Yeah.
you've created?
Yeah, for sure. It's my baby. So in my work now, even though I have a lot of history as a functional practitioner, I'm really into the energetic aspect of helping my clients. And so I work with bioenergetic medicine. I'm not sure if anyone who's going to watch this or is watching this is familiar with that. I forget that we're live.
I tend to attract people who are like into the woo stuff. So I think you're in good company. We can talk about it.
Awesome. So yeah, I do bioenergetic testing for every single one of my clients. That is where I start with everyone. And it's personally because my own journey with Lyme disease and trying all the things, knowing all the things, and seeing that the functional world still left me with something that was missing, even though it's in fact fantastic, right? We're not downplaying that. There's just another aspect that really, really brought me to the finish line and then allowed me to step in and serve other people. So that's what I do. And one of the things I realized was that there is definitely some clinics out there and some other practitioners who do bioenergetic medicine, but it's still kind of, I don't know, it's still kind of on the fringe. It's getting more and more popular. So I love seeing that. But there's also so many different ways people practice. There's really like no platform for people to truly understand like what I did. And so I started taking one-on-one mentorships. Let me pause and go backwards. I had a lot of people reaching out to me who were like, oh my God, this is amazing. Whether it was my clients who, got through, their protocols and graduated really quickly. And I mostly see very chronically, like polysystemic complicated cases. Like that is 100% of my caseload. So it's difficult, from the get-go to support those people. And seeing them within, 6 months to a year make incredible changes. Like a lot of those people become practitioners, right? Because
really, we all go through our own healing journey. I mean, most practitioners do, yeah.
There's like it's the hero's journey that brings us to being able to teach and practice and all of that. So I was like, man, I want to create this course. Like there's so many people who one reach out to other people and they don't respond because they want to like covet things. Right? I'm a very open person. I'm like, ask me a question, I'll probably tell you the answer,
Same.
Yeah. So I was like, Michelle, I want to build this course. I'm super scared to do it for various reasons. I feel so terrified of like moving forward. There's too many things to think about. Like help me compartmentalize that.
Mm-hmm.
So I stepped into one-on-one mentorship with you and definitely don't regret it at all. It was the most amazing thing. And once again, like I didn't reach out that much, right? It was just like a little bit really on our calls. I just pinpointed of what I needed and I took off from there. And I think by I did a 9-month mentorship with you. extra months just because of what you were
Yeah.
doing at that moment. And I think within the fourth or fifth month, I launched.
When you launched, yeah, totally.
I launched and I made back, way more than what I spent. Way more.
Your launch was crazy successful. And I remember too, after you launching, you being like, you sent me a message or something. You're like, I kind of want to let in like two more people or like, and that happened like a couple times. And I'm like, dude, run with it. Like, just check in with your capacity, but like run with it. If that's what feels good and like nourishing and like, that's where you're at, like your launch was beyond successful.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It was really, really awesome. And yeah, like you said, like I think I originally was like, I'll take 12 to 15 people. And then when I saw like how many people were like, especially last minute people like want to jump on, right? They're like, oh my God, I missed it. I was like, okay. I ended up taking most of the people. A few people didn't get in, but that's okay. Like that was my beta launch. And I'm now almost halfway through that. It's a 6-month program and it's amazing. It's like I just felt so supported, and now I feel so confident moving forward, and very, very thankful I took that jump because it was scary. Like when I made that investment, I was like, But I even tell my one-on-one mentees or the people in my course apprenticeship, it's like anytime you invest in yourself, that is like I think of it as we talk about money here as an exchange of energy. Right. And it's very much so that way with yourself. It's like when you're investing in yourself, you're investing in that future version of you who's going to be able to, step into whatever you want to step into.
100%.
Learning all of the things to do that. And I don't know.
And trusting yourself. No, like that's it. And I think a lot of that comes from that self-trust. And I think there's a lot of practitioners who are still cultivating that self-trust because I think like so many of us come from that martyr complex, right? And like there's this constant self-doubt. And then on top of that, entering the online space. And then there's that other doubt of like, well, this is like new. Is this okay? Like, can I do that? Like, how can I move in here? And so there's multiple layers of opportunities for us to second guess ourselves or to like be like, and then you and I with your program, and I know this from creating the WELLth Academy and the WELLth mentorship, is like when you step into working with other practitioners and other providers, there's an additional layer of like imposter syndrome of like, oh my God, like I'm going to share with these people like the ins and outs of how I practice. And like no one else like really sees that except for my clients and my patients, which that's a very different dynamic because blah, blah, blah. But then you start working with these other professionals who are like at the same level and you're just like, okay, I've really got to know my shit now. And like, I have to like show up in a way where it's like, you're really embodied in like how you work and how you teach and how you show up and like all of these things. And so it was just so fun for me to like, just to witness you go through the whole process. And like one of the things that I love, and I think this is like you're such a beautiful example of this is, the practitioners who come into say the WELLth Academy, WELLth mentorship or whatever, it's like you get to infuse your own magic into like the structure and the blueprint. It's like, yes, like the blueprint is totally there for you. But I know that so many practitioners, they have other modalities or other interests or other things that they want to study or infuse or whatever. And it's like, yes, I totally give you everything you need to know about the functional labs. And that's just like one part. And like, I love how you run with that because you're like, yeah, functional labs are cool and all. And like, this is like, this is my like juice. This is my passion. This is like my essence. And like, that's how, like, that's what made it yours. And I love that so much. So.
Business is such a spiritual experience. I really find that like the more that I allow myself to expand and the more I challenge myself, the more I get real with myself and the more honest I am with where I am, what I can provide, what I do. I don't know. It just feels like a coming to self moment in building a business. And I really hope that like it feels like that way for other people, but I know people
100.
But like people come to I don't know, the overwhelm though. Sometimes the overwhelm kind of keeps us from
Mhm.
having that more spiritual experience that a business can have. And I think you really taught me that of like, now I'm taking 1 week, at least 1 week off. Like this December, I'm taking like 2.5 weeks into January
Mhm.
off. Like these things I plan in advance. Like I nourish myself and my business just as much as I nourish my clients. Something I wasn't able to do in a clinic when I had over 100, plus clients. So
Ugh.
I'm just in a very different place, which is great. But there was one other thing I wanted to say, just piggybacking
Mm.
on what you mentioned, and that was like, I think one of the scariest things, if someone is wanting to like do what I did with you and build a course and go through that with your, mentorship, I don't know. I think we get so fearful about like, what if someone asks me something that I don't know? Or like, what if I don't know what they don't know?
Mhm.
And it's like this ego trip, right? And I've really, in the container that I hold, like I am really honest that we're learning together. And I think when we approach education as like, instead of being a teacher, I am a facilitator, right? It's like you
Mhm.
are a space holder. You are creating a container. That's why I love the word container. It's like you are creating this place to hold people, and that I don't like that hierarchical thing because that
It's a
messes.
co-creation. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, in our
Mhm.
office hours calls, like everything, it's like, I want to know, what does this bring up for them in their field? Well, how do they feel they could integrate this or that? Or maybe I don't know about that, but I would love to learn how you could use what I've taught you, in that capacity. And there's just so much learning that I've done as well with these practitioners. And I
So
think
much.
that's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's such a beautiful opportunity to like learn and grow yourself. And I completely resonate with like your like running a business being almost like a spiritual journey. Like it's like a self-development path because it really is because it brings up all your shit. It brings up all your self-doubt. It brings up all your limiting beliefs. It brings up all the projections that you have. Like it brings up everything, which I think is one reason why it's so important to be in a container and to be surrounded by other practitioners and other people who are going on a similar journey. Because otherwise, like, I can barely talk about this stuff with like friends and family, who aren't in this
Yeah.
field or who aren't doing online businesses and things like that. Because they're just like, I literally have no idea what you're doing. Like,
Say there's
is what you're doing legal? Like, what's happening here? Like, how is this? What? And so to have people who are like on that journey with you is just like, I think essential.
And I will say it's like sometimes you create a community and people will come because guess
Mm.
what? We live in a world where we're lacking that exact thing. And this, I mean, even today, right? We're looking through screens and this is our communities. And that's even
Mhm.
funny to think about that this is our communities, but still people want that, right?
Totally.
It's, I mean, us practitioners, it's such a lonely journey sometimes because
Mm.
of what I was mentioning before, where everyone's like coffining away like their secret sauce and like, oh, I can't share
Hmm.
this. This person's gonna steal it. Guys, there's like enough to go
Yes,
around the table.
there
There
is
really is.
way more than enough to go around. 100%. Yeah. And like not getting caught up in that competition. Like that's another thing that surfaces, right? In the online space. Like, oh, is it getting saturated? Oh, is it getting like, da, da, da. It's like, I literally don't think that exists. Like, I don't like, no. If you're showing up embodied in the practice and like the service that you're providing, it's like, no, no.
No,
Competition is non-existent.
I get why people feel that way though, because I think that, and I was just talking to one of my mentors today. She messaged me and she was like, you know what? Like, I just feel like this person's doing that, this person's doing that. And I feel like, why would I do that when there's already all these people? Every time I've ever made a big leap in my life, it's been because I muted everything. I
Mhm.
don't go on social media. I'll take a detox from that. I will, really step back because I don't think we think about how much our fears and ideas of what we can and can't do actually come from what we're looking at. I mean,
Mm,
you know, um,
totally.
So I think
Totally.
every big jump forward comes from stepping back and stepping inward.
Yeah, and realigning with like what's true for you and like where you want to come from. And like that's when you attract the best clients. That's when you have like the best energetic exchanges. That's when you make the most money. Like, I swear, it's like whenever you come back to self and like realign with like that purpose, that passion, like what's true for you at your core, and you bring that to the world, like
Yeah.
that's where it's at.
I
It's
mean,
so
we don't want to build
beautiful.
a business at the end of the day that isn't who we are. And
Yeah.
it's so scary. It's funny, I was talking about this on stories today on Instagram. It's like, it's so scary to think about how much of our inclinations and inspirations and all of that come from what other people are doing. Like, I think that's natural.
Mm.
It's on steroids now. So it's like, what
Mm.
would your life actually look like? And what would you actually want to do and get lit up by if you didn't have someone telling you what that was? Putting that into your field all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Good
sometimes if you're
questions.
feeling stuck, just pause it. Just
Just
say,
like,
shut up,
yeah,
everything. Yeah.
seriously, seriously, so good. Do you want to tell people about your academy?
My what?
Your academy. Your
Oh yeah, yeah. So my academy, so I have my business is called Innate Body Academy, and within my business, my course, my apprenticeship is called the Embodied Intelligence Apprenticeship. So in my academy, I host practitioners within that space, but then I also work one-on-one with my clients. Did you want me to talk about the academy or the
Yes,
apprenticeship?
like let's talk about the apprenticeship. There might be practitioners here who are like, bioresonance is the shit. This is what I want to do. So,
Mhm. So I guess I will start by talking about bioresonance a bit, right? Because that's what my course is
mhm,
about. So
mhm, mhm.
bioenergetic medicine is really interesting. And I think that when you first learn about it, it's very like woo-woo concept, right? Like energy, like what? But being someone who is heavily steeped in herbalism before I'm a clinical herbalist, before I even became a functional practitioner, like I really understand that being in commune with nature, right? Like there is a essence that is really important that we are naturally steeped in as human beings. And I think sometimes the functional world can feel very linear and
Mhm.
really take us away from our connection with everything else and also our connection with ourselves. And that's why I think healing sometimes feels very fractured, especially to my clients who are chronically ill, right? They're overly somatic. They're overly accustomed or over accustomed with every prod and ping and all of that. And it's like everything is just a reaction to themselves. So
Mm.
bioenergetic testing, like when I'm testing a client, what we're doing is I'm going to tell you something that this is science. Like Fritz Popp was a scientist years ago who found out that we as humans generate something called biophotons. This is literally light. It is communication that your cells or that your body communicates to your cells that says, hey, healing needs to happen. If you cut your finger, you can look at that through a biophotonic resonance machine that will show you the finger is lit up, right, in a certain color because information is being exchanged there, which is then informing the body of what actually needs to happen on the physical.
Mm.
And I think this is the biggest thing that changed my life as a practitioner is realizing we learn biology. I'm sure all of us here are just biology nerds, right? We love science. But like we learn in biology class that life happens at the cell and that the cell is its own governing body. That is so untrue. It is so far from the truth. Like our bodies actually start from the energy up, and that is physics. Everything that we see today, everything that you can touch and look at, it's vibrating matter. E equals MC squared. All energy is matter, just slowed down so that we can see it and feel it. And that's the same with everything in our bodies too, our liver, our kidneys, everything. So you can go ahead all day long and you can give supplements and all of this to your chronically ill clients, but most of the time when they're chronically ill, it's not the physical that's keeping them there. It's that energetic aspect of, they have this memory that their body is reacting to. And that is where we need to start, because when you start correcting that, the innate capacity of the body really steps in and says, hey, I got this. Like I remember that vital force. And it's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, I've had in my own journey as a Lyme client, I've seen myself heal Lyme without having to do Lyme killing protocols. I've done that for other people. I've literally helped someone who is bedridden walk 5 miles just homeopathically, by the way, and I'm not going to get into homeopathics, but like working with energy. And it's not that I don't use physical supplements, like you'll see some of those behind me, but when we work with bioenergetic testing, we know what the body needs and we honor that because everyone's individual. And that's the beauty of, why I do what I do and why I teach what I teach to practitioners. It's just such a amazing thing. I'm over the moon about it, seriously.
I know. I just like seeing you. I know everybody watching you right now is like, they can see you lit the F up. Like you're just like lit up. Like this is your jam. Like this is your thing. And it's so beautiful to witness you and just like see like what you've created and how you're impacting the world. And I just, yeah. There's so much more coming for you. And I'm just so proud of you.
Thank you. I couldn't have done it without you. I really couldn't have. I mean, maybe I could have, I don't know. But like, it would have taken me like 10 years. I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see.
I pay like time or money, right? It's like, okay.
Seriously. It's true. So good. Yeah. Beautiful.
If anyone's ever curious about bioresonance, like feel free to reach out to me because I could talk about it for days. And I really feel like the more people understand these concepts, the more like support this universe is just going to get because mind, body, spirit, we talk about it a lot, but we really don't truly understand it. And how many of us actually utilize more coherent based practices?
Michelle Golden, she just joined the WELLth Academy. She wants to learn more about bioresonance.
Oh, yeah.
I'll pop Lauren's info in the chat so you guys can check out her Instagram. She has incredible content and yeah, she's a fantastic.
I'm not super active on there, but I will reach out to you if you message me. Like I will definitely reach out to you. I've been in that busy season of course launch, right? But yeah.
So good. Yeah. And now you're implementing and the practitioners, the feedback that you're getting, it's it's so good. So freaking proud of you.
Thank you. I still sometimes I'm like, am I really doing this? Like, yeah, I'm doing it.
Is this happening? When is your next round opening up? Just out of curiosity. Do you know?
Yeah, we're going to be doing at the end of summer 2024.
Amazing.
So we're going to be doing around like an August, September launch. Yeah, we're already selling seats for it too, which is incredible.
I'm not surprised.
I'm like, okay.
Not surprised. This is what happens when you're in like full alignment and like bringing your gifts to the world, like full out. Love it. Beautiful.
I don't even think I did like a super crazy launch either. I was just
it was pretty simple.
I'm doing this. Do you want to be part of it? Mm-hmm. And I think that's the power of just speaking from your truth,
Totally. Thank you for sharing your journey.
Oh, you're so welcome. I hope, it was helpful for everyone. And if you feel like you need a kick in the pants and you feel like something, it's been right to work with Michelle, but you've been scared, but financially, I get it. Emotionally, I get it. Like there's a lot that you have to move through, but it's just such a beautiful thing to give to yourself. If it's the right season for you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Lauren.
You're welcome. This was really fun.
Super fun. You're incredible. I'm so proud of you. I can't wait to just continue to see like what unfolds for you.
Oh, thank you so much. You've been such not only a mentor, but just a really good support outside of that too. So thank you.
100%. My pleasure. I love it.
All right.
I will chat with you soon. Have a beautiful rest of your evening. And yeah, I know we'll be in touch.
You too. Bye, everyone, whoever's watching. Bye.
All right, that's a wrap for today. If you want the exact breakdown of how I help practitioners go from their first 5K to consistent 50K months with just 2 offers, 10 hours per week, and an audience of less than 500 people, be sure to click the link in the podcast description or head to wealthywoman.co/breakdown. To make sure you don't miss an episode, be sure to subscribe. And for daily online practice insights, follow me on Instagram at wealthywoman.co. Let's create your life of wealth, full of abundance, purpose, health, wealth, and joy.